Firstly, I want to find the function of the demand curve. Here's the general formula of the demand curve, of the function of a demand curve, which I'm going to find first. So to find the function of the demand curve, which is shown here, this is the initial demand curve, I have to find the gradient, meaning B. So I'm going to use the change of quantity divided by the change of price to do that. So therefore I will have to choose 2 points. So as an example, this point with the price and the quantity demanded, and this point with a different price and quantity demanded, and will then calculate my slope. After you found B, you can then substitute any chosen part into your equation, including the price and the quantity demanded, and then you can find A, which you can also see from the table anyways, because A is the quantity demanded when the price is 0, so therefore the quantity demanded would just be 30. So then that is what A would be. And therefore you can just substitute these values into the formula of the function, and then you can find it. So this is my answer I found for the function of the quantity demanded curve. Next I'm going to find the supply curve. So the function of this, the general formula of the function, is this one below. So to do this, I firstly have to find the gradient, which I know already is going to be positive as the curve is moving upwards, as you can see here. To do this, I will do the same as I did before, just using the quantity supplied. So I choose 2 points, such as this one here and this price, to do, and as well as this one down here and this one. And using these 2 values, I will do the same. I will use the change in quantity supplied divided by the change in the price. After that, I need to find C, which is right here. This represents the quantity supplied when the price is 0. So to do that, I can just substitute a different point into the equation to then just solve for C. So the answer I got for this is right here. So as a next step, I want to find the equilibrium, which is right here. And to do that, I simply have to make the 2 equations, the QS and the QD, equal each other, and then I solve for P, so that I find the price at the equilibrium. So after I did this, I found that my P was 150, and then I just had to substitute this again into the original equation to find the quantity demanded at the equilibrium, which turned out to be 15. So this is my point over here on the graph. So let's say there is a new substitute for the MP3 player, for example, the Apple iPod, which means that more people might prefer the Apple iPod, and would therefore less people would demand this type of MP3 player. Therefore, there would be a demand shift to the left, and therefore, as an example, this demand curve could therefore have taken place. So for this demand curve, I now want to find the new curve of the quantity demanded. So therefore, again, I will use this function of the general quantity demanded curve. I already know the gradient of my curve, which will be, again, negative 1 over 10, as it is parallel to my last demand curve, as you can see on the graph. What I have to find now, though, is A again. To do that, I can just find one of the points in the graph, such as when the price is 200 and the quantity demanded is 0. So I just substitute and then I solve for A. So what I found is A was 20. So this is what I got for my quantity. Next, I would have to find the supply curve. But since I already know that the supply curve didn't change, as you can see in the graph here, it would still be the same equation as before, as you can see. So to find the equilibrium of this new shift, which would be this point over here, I just have to make the equations equal each other, again, like before, and solve for P. So for my equilibrium as the price, I found P to be 100 and my quantity to be 10 at the point. So this is basically the coordinates of the equilibrium 1 over here. Therefore, this is the point which tells us where the quantity supplied is also is the same as which is demanded by the people, and therefore which is the most efficient for the company owner.